Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Praise God. I pray all is going well with you. Have someone want to talk to you all about. It's going to be pretty good. It's going to be real good today. This is going to be a nice one. It's going to be one that's going to open our eyes up and give us some keen insight on us. It's going to give us some keen insight. It's going to be real nice. It's going to be real nice. I want to speak with you all today about a topic, about a nice little topic I want to present. And this is going to be very knowledgeable. And I want to speak about the black woman, the black son, the setup. The black woman, the black son, the setup. I want to speak with us about something that has really strategically, hey, prophetess, bless you, darling. I want to speak to us about something that has really strategically came into our lives as black people, came into our lives and really has destroyed, not hindered, but has destroyed our culture in a way that is really devastating, and it is going to take some real wisdom and some real unity to get it back. I want to talk about the black woman, the black son, the setup. The black woman, the black son, the setup. You know, knowledge is real power. Knowledge is real power. Watch this. And on the flip side of that coin, the lack of knowledge means the lack of power. So we really need to begin to get some real knowledge in our lives so that we can have some real power, so that we can move forward. So let me begin to say that what I am about to teach on, it is not a downplay to black women. I love my black women. I'm telling y'all, I love my black women. I'm telling you, I love my black women, and everything I say to you all is for the betterment, watch this here, of the black culture. Because I understand, watch this, through experience, I understand through the scriptures, that the black woman has been the main tool, has been the main tool for Satan to pounce on the black culture and for the most cases, defeat us. I'm going to go into this letter called the Willie Lynch letter. I'm going to show you some key points. I'm not going to read the whole letter. I'm going to bring out some key nuggets that is going to present an option to us to either open our eyes up and see that or just continue to move forward in that foolishness. I want to show you something. This is a letter from the Willie Lynch letter. This is the man who had created the system on how to make slaves. This is the man who created the system that lasts right now, that is still functioning right now today. Watch this, and it's even stronger than when he created it. And he said it. So when I read this here, I want you to pay attention to our black culture. Don't look at nothing else. Look at our black culture. Pay attention to this here. Look at our black culture. And we're going to see just how this system has taken over our black culture. And this is one of the main reasons why we as a culture are messed up. But now after this, we are going to have knowledgeable weaponry. Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate you, player. We're going to have knowledgeable weaponry to where now we can know the truth. And now we have time to make a conscious decision on whether we're going to go for real or we're going to stay pursuing Memorex. But we're going to have to make up our mind. See, this is the dangerous thing about knowledge, because when you come into the knowledge of knowledge, all the excuses go out the window. You have to look at the man and the woman, watch it, said Michael Jackson with your perverted self, in the mirror. Watch this up. This is Willie Lynch. He said, for orderly future, this is his letter called Cardinal Principles for Making a Negro. Listen to this. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid, watch this, to the female and the youngest offspring. This is Willie Lynch speaking on how his system has to be operated, how his system must flow in order for his thing to work for the whites. Listen to this. Both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. Now he said, for orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female. Hey, my brother Glenn, brother Eric, brother Ronnie, to the female and the youngest offspring. See, Satan understands that in order for his kingdom to move forward, he must get in tune with the female. Come on, preacher. You preaching the truth is going to hurt us. Jesus. But you're preaching the truth. God understands for his system for his kingdom to move forward, he must introduce an input through the male. This is why Satan was able to come to Eve, because he knew that this was his en route, God dog, into actually putting a blemish in God's kingdom. Watch this. Both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. He said the female and the offspring, the babies, the female and the offspring, and he's talking about the black woman and the children. He said both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. This new language has to do with the system that he's designed. This system still runs right now today through white supremacy, which a lot of y'all don't understand, but I'll be teaching on that. But look, he says psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. So he's saying that the black woman and the black offspring, the sons and daughters, they must be taught to respond to a new language, to a new lifestyle, to a new way of living. Because the black woman is the key to this system working for us. Watch this here. Watch this. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female. He's talking about the black. Every time I say female, you got to think about the black woman. No other race but the black woman. No other race. Watch this here. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring, and watch what he compared to, of the horse and the nigger. He's showing, he is raising up the black female and the black children exactly the way they raise up horses. Watch this. Pay little attention. This man was a genius. And the things that he created, the system that he created, runs stronger now than when he first put it into effect. Watch what I tell you. Watch this. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking. He talking about, so when he did it, pay little attention to the generation right now, what you're doing now. Pay little attention of this breaking, although you using this system to break the black woman and the black children. Pay little attention to that. Watch this. But concentrate on future generations. God dog. He said, you don't even have to pay too much attention to how you're going to do this, because this is going to penetrate through further generations of the black female and the black children. Listen to this here. Therefore, if you break the female mother, God, she will break the offspring in its early years of development, and when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. This is why they're able to put the black man, come on, preacher, tell the truth to us, man, to put the black man out of the family. Jesus said it like this here over in Mark. Listen what he said. Listen what Jesus said over in Mark. Watch this. Jesus said over in Mark chapter 3, when he was talking about a house being divided. Listen what he said. Over in verse 25, he said, if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Willie Lynch understood that. This is why he said, pay attention to the black female. She's the most important part of this whole system being productive and effective forever. Watch this. Verse 27. No one can enter. This is Jesus talking. He's getting a parable. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he, watch this, first binds the strong man. You remember Willie Lynch took the strongest of the black man and he stripped them naked, tarred and feathered him in front of all the black women, all the black children, and the other black males. He took the strongest, well, what we would call the most rebellious one, took him, the black man who everybody looked up to for security, for safety, for the go-to man. He took him, put him naked, shamed him, tarred him and feathered him, and tied him between two horses facing the opposite direction. And they beat the horses till the horses ran and split his body. They did this in front of everybody, and then they took the other men and beat them almost to the point of death, so that the black woman would have no other choice but to depend, you keep reading, preacher, on that system that watches it. He first binds the strong man, and then he will plunder his house. Listen to what plunder means. Plunder means to take by force or wrongfully. Listen. Something taken by force, theft, or fraud. God. This man had a system. See, this is why you can have, a black woman who has children, and she meets a guy, and it's dangerous, men, when you meet a black woman and she already has some sons. It's going to be a difficult task. Now this, I'm talking about from experience. It's going to be a difficult task to come in and present manhood to them boys. Because there was a system set up for that black woman that she unknowingly was birthed into, that has put up a wall, God dog, against you, black man. Come on, preacher, teach the message so that you could not bring in the manhood guidance that that little boy needs. Because her job, as Willie Lynch has said, her job is to teach this little boy, watch this here, their system. God dog. Watch this. Watch this. Therefore means that the sentence that's before that. Watch this. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Watch this. Therefore. So you don't have to pay attention to what's going on now. Pay attention. Focus on the future. Focus on the future. Focus on the future. Something that we don't do. Focus on the future. Focus on the future. Something that we don't do. This is why us older people are so selfish, because all we thinking about is how I'm going to make it today. But other cultures focus on the future. The future about the children coming up, about the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, great, the future. And he's telling them, focus on the future. Don't worry about right now. Focus on the future. What you are doing now, you are planting a foundation, preach, boy, for the future. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. See, it's all about functioning and laboring for their economy. See, racism started out about race, but is more founded on economy, power. For her normal, listen to this, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. Because her normal protective tendencies is to depend on the black man. God, oh, Jesus. But now the system that's set up, when the black man do come into their life, and he tries to set up a different structure, a different system than was already set up. There's a steel wall that's set up against him called their system. Their system called Section 8. Come on. Their system called child support. Their system called food stamps. It's a system that's set up. It's a system that's set up to keep this division between the black woman and the black male, so that the offsprings will always pay attention to the black female system that she's caught up in. This is why when you're a black man and you come into a blended family and you trying to bring leadership to the black boy, you get confronted by the black woman, by the black mother, because she is protective of him, because she is unknowingly, this is no knock against the black women, none at all, none. You're going to have to listen to this here from a non-biased perspective so that you can see the insight of this. Because this is what has destroyed a lot of families. And as a result, this is what have raised up a lot of black boys to grow up to be like they are now, which many are deadbeat, lazy, don't want to do nothing, locked up and all this, killing each other and everything else. Because there's no black male leadership. There's no black male dominance of positive productivity in their lives. So now we have to fight against the black mother with the black boys. So now we cannot, as black men, effectively raise the black boys in a system that we know to be different from the system that they're in, because we have to battle against the black woman because she's unknowingly in a system that's designed to keep her black boy up underfoot and set up for destruction. Watch this here. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse. A female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. They want to break him for limited, the male horse. So you're talking about the male man, the black male. Take him and break him for limited containment. This is where the prison system comes into play. Because now you have it to whereas the black man, in a lot of cases, is forced. Man. I'm talking about the setup. Is forced to live a life that's illegal in order to take care of his family. And as he's going through this, he has to deal with the rebuttal from the black woman. She's unknowingly in this system, y'all. I'm not blaming the black woman. I'm not. I'm talking about the setup. I'm talking about the system that's set up. I'm teaching from the Willie Lynch letter. And I'm talking about the system that's set up. That's set up for to keep the black family, the black culture divided. See, because what you get from division, you get lack of power, you get lack of wisdom, you get lack of doors open, and you get plenty of poverty. Plenty of poverty. When I was young, I saw my daddy leave, right? When he had left my mother and he had left us. And I saw my mother leaning out the window. We stayed on Spalding on the west side of Chicago. And we stayed on Spalding on the second floor. And I saw him, and she was leaning out the window, hollering and crying, saying, "Come back, Elvin, come back, Elvin." All I saw was him walking down the street. And what I remember feeling was, who's going to protect us? Who's going to provide for us? Who's going to discipline us? At a young age, I was feeling this here. Who's going to show us right from wrong? Watch this. Watch this. Train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand. Now he's talking about, he's saying this is how you train the female nigger. The same way you train a female horse. Train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand. And she will in turn train the infant horse to eat out of your hand as well. This is why I know generations, because they're trained to eat out of your hand. So now they feed the black woman food stamps. They feed the black woman Section 8. They feed the black woman these things. They feed her these things, free medical. Things like this. They feed her this here. To whereas now she can live in a nice place, barely pay any kind of rent. They feed her these here things to where she can get these here grants for lights and gas, and they feed her these here things to give her more food stamps to take care of the children. They feed her these things, and she unknowingly, unknowingly in a system. So it's no shade on the black woman. I have to stress that continually because how emotional people get. So she's accepting these things because she has to take care of her family. Watch this. So now she's in a system to where she's being taken care of. Now the black man, by him being sophisticatedly taken out of the black family because of low wage paying jobs, because of these things. And I know many of y'all say, well, they had a chance to do this here and they had a chance to do this here, right? I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you because you're bitter and you just need some deliverance. I'm not talking. No, I'm trying to speak to people who want to learn the truth about life and realize something is not going right. You know, in my ex-marriage, we had went through that with the boys and all this stuff here. And then when they got of age, she said, I wish I would have turned the boys over to you because they'd have turned out better. But it was too late. There was nothing that I could do because, see, it is like a tree. When you got a little plant and it's leaning over, you can take a stick and straighten it up and tie it together and let it grow up straight. But when the little plant has come of age and is leaning, it's going to be hard, almost impossible to straighten that tree up for further growth. You're going to have a hard time. There's going to be a major struggle and to no avail. Watch this. Watch this. Take the female and run a series. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. See, so they run tests on them as far as, we'll give you Section A, but you can't be married. You can't be married. You cannot have a black man in the house. You cannot have a black man in the house, cannot. No. You can't have that. Watch that. Watch that. We'll give you food stamps as much as you want. But he cannot live there. We'll take care of you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you, but we're going to need you to raise your children the way that we tell you. We're going to need you to raise your children in the same system that we have you in, which means that we're going to need you to keep outside influence, which is the black man. We're going to need you to keep him out. So when he comes in, you're going to already be in a system that's already taking care of you. And by him coming in from struggle, he's not going to be able to compete with the system that we have, which means that you are going to stand up and defend what we are doing for you, which means now this is going to be a battle between the black female and the black man, which means now he's going to have a hard time trying to instill a system of righteous government so that the young black boy can have some order in his life, so that the young black boy can have some principles, some standards, some morals in his life to where he can grow up and begin to introduce this same system that the black man is teaching so that power and knowledge can be in the generations. No, we're shutting that down and we're using you, black female, for that. Watch that. Watch that. Test her in every way because, test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. He said, test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of resistance out of her. So they'll say, if you don't do this here, then we'll take your child from you. Now you tell that to a woman, and man, look here, whatever you want me to do, player. Whatever you want me to do. I used to tell guys when we was on the street and they were working for us, say, hey, man, don't mess with a woman that got children. If you're going to use her for this and that, do not mess with a woman that has children, because when the police come and put that pressure, all they got to do is tell her that they're going to take her kids. And they're going to tell on our entire organization. It's the same thing. So see, this is why you can transfer it over to the black church, to whereas you see why there are not many black men in the churches, because this same system has been spent over. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. The same system has been spent over to the black church, to the black preachers, to whereas now we can have black preachers preaching to the black women, but not teaching them who they are. Because they know if they teach them who they are, the black husband will begin to see it and gravitate to it. But now, see, they don't want the black men to come to church, because the black men will come to church and see the truth about this here black preacher. And that'll be a whole different ball game. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. This is why we have so many warehouses with young black people working in them, because they were taught to be in a system. They was taught to be in a system that's going to go on for generations to come. What's that? We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. She should have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. They call that uncivilized. You see the mind twist? See, they understood that this is the black female's true nature, is to be dependent on the black male. Is to be dependent on the black male. This is the true nature of the black woman. But see, the system, the setup was to take the black woman's mindset from that and be dependent on this system that we have, so that we can keep this thing divided. Because if we can keep this divided, we take away the power. We take away the power. Stay focused on the message. Stay focused on the message. Let Stacy do her thing. Stay focused on the message. Look. Watch this. And she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. So she's going to raise them to be the same way. So see, this is why the rebuttal towards the black man is so strong from the black woman, because that system has created a independent wall for her. that is so strong to where she gonna come against what the black man is speaking on for the black boy. I'm telling you. I know this is rough. I know this is rough. I know this is rough. But see, we can come up out of this. Once we know what's set up against us, we can come up out of this here. And as we're coming up out of it, inner deliverance will continue to take place to where we can become strong, united family, black families, strong, united black communities, strong, black, united people, to where we begin to have knowledge and power. And with that, we can move mountains. Watch this. Watch this. Nature, watch this. Nature had provided for this type of balance. He understands that this is nature. That's the real balance of nature. So you see why we have so many black independent women who want no parts of a man coming calling no kind of shots. No, player, you can go ahead on with that. I'm good. So now we have these little black boys being raised with no strong black male structure. And as a result, the ones who pay the ultimate price for that be the black children that's coming up, being the black women that's coming up who are going to have children by these young black boys. And this will be an orbiting cycle. An orbiting cycle, and it's going to get stronger through the generations. This is why he told them earlier, pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Watch this. Watch this. Listen to this here. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. I'm talking about the black woman, the black son, the setup. She will raise her male and female offsprings in reversed roles. This is why you have so many. You can look at some things now to where, as many things, to where the black woman is more dominant in relationships than the black man. The black man just sit back and say, you know what, I ain't finna do none of that. I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna just shut down. I'm gonna be quiet. And you can just look at life, period. And if any of you all have any, many of y'all probably are going through this here right now. Many of y'all probably are going through this here right now today. But see, you cannot begin to know that you're in darkness if there's no light being presented to you. And in order for light to be presented to you, that light has to expose the darkness that we're in. And this hurts. This hurts. It brings about some pain. This pain is called purging if we receive it correctly. It will cause purging, which will begin to put us on the right track where we belong, where this would be the natural balance. Yeah. For fear of and this is why the black mothers are so protective of the little black boys. Watch this. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she's fearful for his life. Because she see what happens to many black men out here and she see what is going on, and she knows that something is not right towards the black men, but she cannot quite put her finger on it, but she sees something is right in her love for the black boy that she has, the love for her black son. She wants to do everything that she can protect him, to keep him alive, even if it means teaching him, son, look here, we're going to stay in this system. This system here will keep you alive, baby. So we're not going into any other system. So now when she meets a guy and he comes with a strong male system, she's going to buck against it. And there's going to be turmoil in the house. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offsprings to be psychologically independent. What have you got? You've got the nigger woman out front and the nigger male behind and scared. God, dog. Jesus. Let me read that again. Because she has become psychologically independent of that system, she will train her female offsprings to be psychologically independent. This is why we have generations of that. Generations of Section 8, generations of food stamps, generations of these things. What have we got? You've got the nigger woman, you've got the nigger women out front and the nigger man behind and scared. Wow. Wow. See, and I know that y'all are on here and y'all are, I understand. But now when you look at life, when you come from out of your biased view of it, and you really sit back, you will see that this is true stuff that's going on in the black culture today, and is stronger than ever. Why do you think we have so many black on black crime with these little black young boys? Why do you think the prisons are so filled with black young boys? Why do you think this here is? Why do you think we have so many young black women having babies by young black men? Why do you think this is? This is not just something just happened by happenstance. No, this is not that. No. And why do you think that we have so many warehouses filled with black young men who have very high potential in them, but it's never been guided. It has never been nurtured. It has never been tutored. So it's lying dormant in them to where all they can do is function out of a system that they've been already taught. Watch that. Ooh, I wish I can just block you, Stacy. Okay, listen to this here. Watch this now. This is my last one here. And by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. Forever. Let me see if I can get over. Forever we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. And now you can see generations coming of how this system has really taken over and has done exactly what it said that it would do to our black females, to our black sons. Watch this. Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the position of the male and female slaves. unless a great phenomenon comes, unless this great revelation of who we are coming to us, this will continue to go. But I believe a great phenomenon is coming. I believe a great revelation is coming to where we are beginning to see who we really are, so that we can begin to unite as black women and black men, so that we can begin to unite to have strong families, strong communities, strong cultures. This is what I believe, so that we can begin to have some real solid foundation, so that the black women can come up out of that system, so that the black men can come up out of the system, and so that we can have a united front to where now our black children can no longer inherit, hey, I'm done with this, that system. See, we're going to have to grow in knowledge, and we're going to have to begin to look at things from a true life experience standpoint. And yeah, it'll hurt. Yes, it will hurt. But we're going to have to begin to look at things and say, you know what? I'm beginning to see the light now. Yeah, it's damaging to my soul right now, but I'm beginning to see the light. And I'm going to pursue that light, so that the more I pursue that light, this darkness, watch this, will be behind me. Because I'm looking forward to generations to come. It's no longer about me, but it's about the generations to come. I don't want my black boy, I don't want my black girl raised up in a system that I've been so indoctrinated in. I want the best for them. And I know the best for them is to come up out of this system that I've been indoctrinated in. So I'm going to continue to pursue truth, so that the light can continually shine, so that I can move forward and present a foundation of freedom, present a foundation of peace, present a foundation of power, so that generations can come to be prosperous and move forward, so that power, favor can be our portion. This your boy Hood, Pastor Full Impact Ministry. This is something y'all probably never hear in your own church. I'm just giving you some stuff. The black woman, the black son, the setup. Y'all know what it is. I'm out. Peace.